Welcome back to the show. My name is True. I am here with the legendary Carlos Hayes.
Yeah.
And we got little Rach in the house.
What's going on?
And we have a very special guest today. Goes by the name of what, little Rach?
Mr. Goodwill Tree.
Did you say Goodwill Tree?
No, Mr. Roundtree. Mr. Will Roundtree.
I knew she was going to do that. What the fuck? You better get on this book shit.
Oh my gosh. Look, I actually have it written down right
here. I give
here.
out like the Goodwill, though.
I
give out gifts.
I love that.
Remember I told you on the phone, I'm like, I keep getting that receiver, the crab tree.
The crab tree.
Well, he was good. He was good, and then he got all wild.
When I was in school, I heard round tree, square tree, circle. So I've heard it all.
Yeah, my last name's Sink, so figure that one
Sink
out.
or swim.
There you go.
Sink.
There you go.
Kitchen sink. So what's up, Will?
Man.
I see you got these 2 books here.
Welcome to the show.
No, I appreciate the invite.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure, bro.
Full-time CEO. This is your brand?
Yes, this is one of my brands.
One of how many?
From a business standpoint, I have this, which it is trademarked. I got my REI 90.
That means you can't.
Yeah.
No, I'm down. We already down. So
I got the
I'm
REI
already
90. I got, of course, my parent company, We Management. I got the term Credit is King trademarked. So I have a lot of things trademarked.
Damn, credit
That's
is
awesome.
king.
That's
Was
smart.
That's awesome, man.
That's a dope one to have trademarked.
Definitely.
Yeah, I had this out. Just speaking on the trademark real quick. I had this DJ one night. He turned around. He told me he got this master plan while he was fucked up, and he goes, "Yo, nobody trademarked Bay."
Wow.
Remember how everybody's saying
Wow.
Bay wasn't trademarked?
Wow.
He's like, we should do like a festival and call it Bay. But man, what did you just say the one was?
I'm
Say it
sorry.
again. I'm already blacked out. Which one did you say?
The Credit is King.
Credit is king. How is that not taken? I feel like that is a fucking massive one, bro.
Man, it
right?
is. It is. A couple people been using it, so I'm just letting their money build up before I go after it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shark,
I see.
Shark style. Yeah.
I see people do that. Like Detroit does that a lot.
Yeah.
They'll like snag the name of like strip clubs out here, or just put another letter after it, or Las Vegas,
Yeah.
or anything like that. So
Or either put Detroit in front of it.
yeah,
Detroit this. Detroit that.
but
Yeah.
you're gonna get them once they get
I
built.
want
Let
the
them
money,
build.
I want the money to bubble first.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
you go.
want $15 just yet. Let me get the 150.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You
what?
know,
What is?
1500.
Have you ever gone after anyone because of that before?
I've definitely sent I have my attorney sent a cease and desist before. Somebody put out a children's book on Amazon, and it said Credit is King something, and I was like, hey, sick 'em.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Feels
Yeah.
good to have an attorney. A lot of
I will
times
never use that. Credit is king. But it is king, though. Credit is king.
credit is king. 'Cause
I mean,
know,
it's just
like
like
that.
saying cash is
You can't
king.
you
like,
can't make money off that saying.
nobody else can
Except for
me,
you.
Except
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
Do
There
you
you
know
go.
that? Do you know that Michael Jackson trademarked "Happy Birthday"?
Yeah.
Really?
He definitely did.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Happy
That's fucking
birthday
nuts,
to
bro.
well, that's why
you.
you can't sing it in restaurants.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Like if you're a server, you legally can't do that.
Wow.
Really?
I didn't even know
I've been
that.
at multiple jobs
Hang
where
on,
they're
I'm
like,
actually-
we can't sing the happy birthday. That's why you have to make up your own happy birthday song at like restaurants. Like that's why
Wow, that's
restaurants like have their own little jingle sometimes. Like,
Yeah, that's
That's
interesting
yeah,
because now that I think
it is
about it,
trademarked. Yes.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah,
You have to
because
have
it's
a
definitely
license.
trademarked.
Is
know-
that why Stevie Wonder has his own version?
Because it was trademarked.
it must be. I didn't even know. I haven't heard the Stevie Wonder one, but yeah, that must be.
It's a black thing.
It is.
It's a black thing.
You guys be
Only-
smoking
only
that
black
weed and
people.
weed
Only
and
black
shit,
people
thinking
are-
about
Yeah, that's me and
Yeah,
Spanky.
Spanky.
You know
Calls
about
me
that
with
one.
all these
You
fucking
heard it
ideas.
before.
Hey, bro.
Happy birthday.
Hey,
to
bro.
Oh
you.
yes.
Happy birthday to
Spanky
you.
calling at 3 in the morning.
Happy
Hey, bro, you want to open a McDonald's?
birthday.
Okay, I've heard
Right.
that one before.
Right. I'm sure.
This guy gets high. He wants to open all
Probably
kinds
like
of
black
businesses.
guys too. so
I
I've
used to
heard
work at
that.
Splash Supper Club,
There you go. So you know.
Flash.
and I went to a predominantly
What?
African American college. It was school.
Awesome.
What was that
Yeah.
called?
Allegheny College in Maryland. It was in Western Maryland, but it was on campus, like the ones that lived on campus.
Right.
Yeah.
No, let's do it.
That
That's
explains a lot.
Oh my gosh, I can't with you.
So where did all this stuff start? Let's start with the I know you said you did a little bit of credit repair.
Yeah, so it actually
Kind of starts right there.
I
right?
need that first of all.
I got you.
So
Spank. I got you.
Yeah.
So it started
go.
when I was, because I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
That's where I was born and raised, and
All
so Packers, Lions, the whole
Yeah,
rivalry,
for sure.
You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying?
They say I got a kid in Milwaukee, but I ain't sure yet.
Hey,
but
look,
they said that for a while.
Hey,
So it'll probably be my oldest too, actually.
he
So
might
you
be
might
one of
know
my-
him.
He
You
might be
know
one of
him.
my clients.
You never know.
I was actually wondering because I was looking at your social media and I saw you were doing the stuff in Milwaukee,
Yeah.
and I was like, I wonder why he's choosing that.
Yeah,
state.
that's so. So I'm originally from Milwaukee, and just like everybody else, I was told go to school, get good grades, get good job, all that shit, and it didn't work for me.
Doesn't work for anybody.
Nobody.
sir.
Nobody.
Nobody. I don't even know why they still sell that dream.
Yeah.
And so, well, I do know why they call it American Dream, because they put you to sleep with that.
Yeah.
They do.
So
Well,
everything else is a distraction.
This is what I said. So I went to UCLA,
Right.
and so everybody will see that and they'll be like, "Oh, you're smart." And I'm like, "No, bro. I went there for a sport, but I had every test."
Right.
I'm like, college is high school all over again. It's like, can you party all night and go to work the next day? So it's basically, I feel like that's what it is. But everybody I went to school with, nobody is doing what they
That's
graduated.
usually how it
Nobody.
is. That's
Nobody.
usually how it is. And so, did that path, didn't work. Attempted to go to college, and I remember being in my economics class, and my professor in economics was talking about how he was bad with money. So I dropped out of college at that point. So dropped out of college, went into entrepreneurship, started working. And then I had a mentor who told me in 2001, he said, Will, eventually credit will become the new dollar. Didn't know what he meant by that. And then by 2005, I had moved to Las Vegas, found myself homeless. I actually moved to Vegas with $500 to my pocket, had a garbage bag full of clothes, and I bought a one-way ticket. Knew nobody out here.
That was me. Like,
That was
So-
Spanky.
no.
I did that in LA though.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Basically.
Why Vegas? Why? What was just?
So I had a mentor at the time who, when I was a part of this network marketing company, we were building a team in Vegas. And so he was like, look, you don't have much going on in Milwaukee. You want to go to Vegas? And I was like, absolutely. So that's actually who I borrowed the $500 from. I was like, look, I don't have any money. My car is I'm hiding my car from the repo man, the whole nine. And so moved to Vegas, ended up, renting a room from somebody, had to end up sleeping in my car. Like things got real bad because you think, you always had this vision of how you think life would be.
Right.
And that shit never turns out like that.
Tell me about it.
It doesn't.
So moved to
Right.
Vegas, found out how hard business really is. And I remember one of the reasons why I kept going through things is because when I would try to rent an apartment, they say, hey, you need 3 times the deposit. When I tried to buy a vehicle, they said you need a cosigner. And so I'm
God.
26 years old trying to figure out life. And I'm like, damn, like, why are these things happening? And then that quote came back to me and it was like, man, you got to work on your credit. And so I started to really look into it. And as a matter of fact, I used to go to like some internet cafes over here off of Maryland Parkway. That looks like they tore those buildings down. And so I would go
By
over
the
there.
college?
Yeah,
Street
right
from the
across the
college?
street. It was some internet cafes.
And they
over
had
there.
like an Arabic
downstairs.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
used to go to
They had
that
this Arabic
Mediterranean place.
restaurant.
Yeah,
Oh my
it was
God.
really good,
It used
man.
to be incredible.
And so
That's how I know what you're talking about.
yeah, I
Fat
probably
nigga. I'm
I
a
probably
fat
saw
nigga.
you in there, man.
I'm
So-
telling you. I'm telling you.
So
He wasn't on the computer, but he was.
I probably was. Idiot. I didn't want to say nothing else.
Oh my gosh.
so started
Guess we're like
really
brothers.
learning about credit, and when I saw the positive benefit of what it was able to do for me, so I was able to get a car with no money down. Blew my mind. Coming from the hood of Milwaukee, we assume you always got to put 20-30% down every tax season. Like that's the hustle. They figure, hey, get your tax return, come buy a car, because they know the car is only gonna last from tax season to tax season. So you're taking your whole tax check buying a car, and then so once I saw I was able to buy a vehicle with no money down, I was like, man, I wonder can I buy a house? So coming from Milwaukee, I never even fathomed being a homeowner. Bought my house in 2012, and I was like, it got to be something to this. So I started researching about credit.
Lucky you didn't do that shit in 05 like I did.
Yeah. But you know what?
I bought 5 houses in 05.
I think what happened in 05 was people wasn't educated on how to buy because people were buying over cost.
Yeah, well, that's what. So what was crazy? I tell people I moved to Lake Las Vegas, built a brand new house. It was
Okay.
1.6 million, and then me and my baby's mom that came out here, we bought 4 DR Horton houses,
Right.
2,800 square feet, just spec homes. They're $500,000. We went through Countrywide. It was all stated income.
Yep.
Put 25 grand down, 25 on the yard, no questions asked. And they said that's what the problem was. And everybody around me was in a frenzy out here. Oh, my house that I got for 400 is worth 800 right now. But I'm like, but you can't sell it and move into another house because they all went up. Now, if you took that money and you moved back to Milwaukee, okay, now you can cash a house out and win. But my dad was the only person out of everybody, attorneys, everybody. He was like, what goes up must come down. And he's like, he goes, this square footage shit don't make sense to me.
And that's what I actually teach people now, because even back in 2005, what was happening was when people were buying houses, they never thought about, oh, how am I going to service the debt after the mortgage adjust? Because you would get a 3,000 square foot home and you had what's called a 3-year adjustable rate mortgage where the payment is $1,500 for 3 years. Then once the mortgage rate adjusts, now it's $4,000.
Ooh, I've never even heard of that. I did all 30-year fixed on mine, but that's a nice little slide move.
A lot of people never thought about that, but even at that price point and you were getting into the 30-year fix, I have this thing like, how do you service the debt?
Right.
And so when I talk about buying real estate, my focus is, okay, I'm gonna buy this property, and if the mortgage is $1,000, I have to make sure I'm getting at least $1,100 in rent. And nobody ever calculated it like that. And so that's actually kind of how I got into this space. From learning, going back to the credit space, I started to learn that wealthy people leverage credit. That's how they buy businesses. That's how they buy real estate.
Okay.
So Donald Trump.
We assume we got to save money for 20 years, and that's not how wealthy people do it.
No. My grandfather said, you're supposed to, when you die, you're supposed to owe everybody.
No, real talk. We assume debt free is a good thing. You want to be consumer debt free,
right?
But on the business side, no, you run it up.
I've heard that many times.
Like
it's actually good to have debt. Like so many rich people actually have so much debt.
They call it structured debt. So
like you leverage that debt to get you more financial income.
If I'm $1 million in debt, as long as that million is making me 2, 3, 4, 5 million, I'm cool with that. And so nobody ever taught us how to look at it like that. We would just assume, oh, I'm scared of debt.
Right.
But if you go ask that same person,
because you don't want to owe nobody.
Well, you go ask that same person, I guarantee you they got credit card debt for clothes, shoes, weed, the strip. Like they owe money to all of the shit that's not making no money. But when you have debt that makes you money, that's the route you want to be going towards.
Yeah. You gotta show me that. You gotta show me that.
That makes sense for sure.
Gotta show me that.
So you gotta have debt that
makes you money.
Makes you money.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That makes perfect sense.
So you said you did real estate. Did you ever get into like Airbnb?
I don't do a lot of the short-term rentals. Not saying it's a bad strategy.
Okay.
I just like long-term rental money because I can predict my money a lot better. Meaning like, okay, if I go and buy and invest in this property and I know it's going to make me X amount of dollars, a couple different things is, one, I know that I'm going to keep the property forever and real estate is going to be up and down. And so my thing is I'm not trying to get rich off this rental today. Right. And I think that's the problem with real estate and business right now. Like, think about it like this. The reason the real estate market is in a frenzy from an investment standpoint is because most people in the past, 5 years made so much money in real estate that it was unrealistic from a long-term standpoint. And I'll give you an example. Money was so cheap from from about 2013, 14, all the way till 2020. Interest rates was 3 to 2%.
Right.
Now, if we look back when our parents and grandparents owned homes, in 1980, the interest rate was 13%. That was normal. And so our generation have gotten spoiled, not knowing that if you had an 800 credit score in the 80s, your interest rate was still 13%. So real estate is really going back to how it used to be. And it's hard for people to fathom that. And so now they're like, oh, it's no money in real estate. No, you just got to know how to evaluate deals better. You just got to be more, so real estate was never to get rich today or tomorrow. You hold real estate forever. Right. But what was happening?
It's a marathon.
It is.
Well, that's what I did when I say I bought 4 extra houses.
Right.
That was the plan. I was sitting on a bunch of money that I made, it was like life savings. And I said, hey, one day when these are all paid off, I'll take this and, this is how I'll just retire off of it. The 4 houses.
Right.
They'll eventually pay themselves off. You sell them or pass them on the generational type of wealth. 2 years later, that shit came crashing.
Well, I tell people that's because you got to look at it from a mathematical equation. Meaning, I'm only buying real estate that I know is going to pay for itself. I'm not focused on the real estate appreciating in value. Meaning, I don't play craps with my real estate portfolio. So if I'm buying a house at 100,000, I'm not waiting for it to go to $500,000 because I'm playing the long-term game. So as long as this property is going to make me, let's say $500 every single month, the property is going to appreciate over time anyway. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow from that property, now go get property number 2. So now it didn't cost me anything out of my pocket. I'm going to let my portfolio continue to pay for itself. So let's just say over the next 5 years, you bought one property a year at $100,000 a piece. Okay. After 5 years, you have a portfolio at minimum worth $500,000. So now your net worth is at minimum $500,000. Now, you can go and borrow against that portfolio tax-free. A lot of people don't know the reason wealthy people buy art in real estate is because not only does it make you money, you can also borrow against it tax-free. So instead of me saving my money in the bank where I'm going to have a level of a depreciation and I'm fighting inflation, I'm going to stick it into a property. And so when I do need to get liquid, I'll just borrow against it tax-free. So now I can go out there and buy other stuff. So now if I do want to buy a car, I'm going to borrow it against my property because the tenant is going to pay the mortgage and my Mercedes-Benz car note or my McLaren or whatever it is I decide to buy. So we just haven't learned about economics. We just learned, oh, let me get some credit. Let me go buy some real estate. Let me buy some cars. No, it's all economics.
Yeah, what's crazy now when I think about, for in school, like, obviously we all know nobody's used algebra in life, but everything you're saying, like, how come this whole, there's a reason this whole housing thing of what you're saying, there's a reason they didn't teach that.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like a reason they didn't want, like, kids to know that.
Do you have everything that you just spoke about in the book that you have here on the table?
I got some of it. I got at least some for the.
Where's the rest of the juice at?
It's in my programs.
Ooh,
you have to.
Okay.
So you said you came here in 2005. You're in your 40s.
Yeah. Damn, how you know, True?
I think I asked you yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
You're the same age actually as Spanky.
Okay.
Without even saying it.
44.
Yeah, you're 44, right?
42.
44.
All right.
But same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
After 40, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same. I'm learning that.
Knees still hurt in the morning, so
man, I gotta stretch.
I'm taking that cosamine. So what? So you're saying so what got you on all this is you had a mentor that actually just got you interested in knowing how to make.
Not necessarily he got me interested. He taught me different principles and concepts. What really got me going was I was tired of being broke. I often tell people rock bottom.
Is.
I don't know, because rock bottom teaches you something that life, like a mentor can't teach you. But then everybody's rock bottom is different. Like, let's say I'm cool with Spank and I'm like, yo, I'm down on my luck. And he like, bro, you can crash on my couch. That me sleeping on the couch may not be my rock bottom. He may have to say, no, you got to go sleep outside because you still in the same place and it's 3 months later. So between having a mentor, them teaching me different concepts on money, because we're not taught about how money works or concepts.
Here's a great question. How do you know who, like, there's a lot of people out here, doing this. How do you distinguish who's fraud and who's not? Because I think there's more people frauding and scaring people out of I agree. Wanting to
valuable information.
It's like saying, you see a lot of things, then people are like, oh, look at my house, look at my car, look at my jet. And then to me, it seems like those people are scamming. But I did see something. I was looking through your Instagram, and I saw you said, I think it was you on the Angela Yee show.
Right.
She said something like, how would I know you're not scamming? And you're like, well, I mean, the power of the internet. Somebody on there would have came out of nowhere and been like, yo, this dude's full of shit. He took my money. I think you said something like that.
She just said that because Envy was scamming. So that's why, anybody who bring that subject up, she thinks they're scamming.
Is he in trouble still?
I don't know. Fuck that guy.
Look, this is what I say. I just focus on Will Roundtree. But anyways.
No, they made me the donkey of the day like 2 times.
Oh, okay.
So fuck them guys. Anyway, I'm sorry. Sorry, Will.
Angela's nice.
Bad news travels faster than good news.
Yes.
So if somebody is out here finessing people, you're going to find out. But more importantly, this is what, and I actually talked about this today on my Instagram live, is that one, we have to really inspect what we want an outcome to be. And so if we're online and we're like, hey, I want to learn what this person is doing and how they became successful, if we're just enamored with them because they got jets and taking trips and stuff like that, like if that's what you're drawn to, you can tell if the information that they're providing is really of substance of giving you plans of execution or saying, hey, just come and live like me.
Yeah.
Right.
Something I saw in your videos that I liked. I was seeing like when you were in Milwaukee,
Right.
you were actually going out there on
Definitely.
the streets with the people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, somebody, because I always said, oh, everybody gets rich off these books or buy my course or whatever. But I noticed that you had a bus, you took people to
Yeah,
locations, you
definitely.
went in-house, like you were hands-on.
And
Like,
but that's the Midwest style. You got to go to them in the
we
Midwest.
do.
You
And-
have to look them in the face. You got to give it to them.
But
in
that
the
also
face.
shows like the difference between like other people and then you.
Well, it's the execution.
That part.
Yeah.
And so, and that's the thing I tell people is that I pay attention to who's showing you how to execute. So one of the reasons a lot of these real estate gurus are getting in trouble is they'll say, hey, let me help you guys get $100,000 a piece in credit and then bring your money to me and let me invest it. See, I don't want people to have a control over my outcome versus me saying, hey, let me help you get $100,000 a piece, but then I'm gonna show you how to put it out there and facilitate your own deals. Hey,
Right.
this is what to look for. This is how you calculate, whether
have you ever
it's a deal
partnered
or
with
anything.
anybody on that? Like, have you ever said, like, someone took your course and they say, hey, I want you to be a part of this deal, and you believe
Not in the
deal?
beginning, no.
Not in the beginning.
Because I don't want them to feel like, one, I'm trying to control their scenario, and two, I don't want their initial success to be predicated on me.
Right.
I want to teach you how to fish first, because there's going to be pitfalls in business. And
Yeah.
because a lot of the times when people are new in business, their emotional intelligence is low. So if I do something that doesn't go accordingly, and it doesn't mean that the deal is a bust, it just may not work out immediately. I don't want you saying, well, Will stole my money. No, I'll teach you what to look for and you go figure it out yourself. And then once you get some skin in the game, you get some experience, then maybe we can do a deal together. But I typically only do short-term deals with people because I don't want to lock their money up. Because my thing is, hey, I'm going to show you how to go and get it. But here's the even bigger thing, True. The concepts that I'm teaching you on how to get your own money, you don't need to partner with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you, hey, let me show you how to identify your own deals. Let me show you how to get your own money. So now you don't have to partner with Will, because I'm going to put you in position so you can go speak with my bankers. I don't hoard my contacts.
Right.
I want people to have access to everything I have access to. So now you have no excuse.
Powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's where I kind of separate myself at.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, and people should know in business, I mean, nothing is ever a for sure thing.
Ever.
Never,
There's
ever.
there's always a risk. It doesn't matter at what multitude, but I mean, you just gotta know how to kind of maneuver.
Gotta maneuver. And that's the thing too. I try to show people, like, look, I'm gonna show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I show people one of my houses burnt down.
Wow.
A tenant set it on fire.
Oh my goodness.
But I also said, but this is why you get insurance, because now the insurance company is cutting me a check. So now I can rebuild. But a lot of people don't even teach people to go get insurance on their rental
That's
properties.
so true.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show you the good, the bad.
Did you
and the
burn the
ugly.
house down?
No, I didn't.
No. He can't do
I'm,
that.
I'm thinking of all the Detroit people. That's some Detroit shit right
Yeah,
there.
Devil's Night. Do they got Devil's Night in
Milwaukee?
Nah.
Devil's Night is the day before Halloween, and
Oh,
they just
yeah.
burn up.
They
every
do something like
fucking
that in
thing.
Madison, Wisconsin, but I don't think they burn stuff up. They
Okay.
probably tear shit
Toilet
up.
paper.
Yeah,
Toilet
they-
paper,
Yeah.
eggs.
Stuff like
No,
that.
they fuck it up. That's why Detroit's so fucked up.
Where I came from, they forked people. They take plastic forks and just stick them
What?
on your yard.
Oh, I thought you actually
No.
forked them. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Definitely
I'm coming
not.
after you.
Damn.
So,
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
so long term, like I was seeing it on your thing. You were taking people from. You went back to Milwaukee. Is it just you feel comfortable there with knowing the market a little bit better than anywhere else?
That, and the thing I like about Milwaukee, it took for me to move to Vegas and me started working with other people there before I saw the benefit of investing there. And here's what I meant. like I never looked at Milwaukee as a viable market to invest in, because when you're from there, it's kind of hard to see the vision.
Exactly.
Everybody, I don't know if it was
Right.
the same for you, but in Detroit prior to me coming here,
Right.
it was every house was 10 G's in Detroit. They're
Yeah.
like, bro, go buy like 20 houses.
But
I
you
had-
don't see it.
Oh,
and-
here in
and-
Vegas?
And they were saying, no, in Detroit.
Oh, shit.
And then
Yeah.
you were getting paid by Section 8, so you didn't have to worry about whatever.
I've heard
Right.
about that.
And I had some people really come up on that. And I've had some people run into some super dangerous shit with that as
Yeah.
well.
Because
Yeah. I
because
was
here's
one
the
of
thing,
them.
nobody is telling people that real estate is still a business. Too many
Right.
people doing it like a hustle. And so once
Because it became a hustle.
it became a hustle. Well, everywhere.
Well,
really.
everywhere, but
Everywhere.
you know, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I started to look at Milwaukee because of two things that stood out to me. One, the entry point, just like similar to Detroit, which is really a whole Midwest thing. I can remember in 2017, I bought a house for $2,500.
Holy
Okay,
shit.
for less than what some people get on a tax refund check.
Wow.
Now that $2,500 property today, I just did a cash out refi. It's worth probably about 150. I just took like 60,000 grand out. I think I even posted the statement of me getting the money, because I show people, what I actually do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the reason I bring that up and why Milwaukee is because Milwaukee is one of the places that for every dollar invested per capita, it has the highest rental payout. So there were houses in 2019, I bought a house for $45,000 all in. All in meanings like
Yeah.
like that was rehab, like everything was
yeah.
included. I actually invest in what's called turnkey, meaning it's already
It's already
set up.
good. It's ready.
I paid $45,000. That property pays me to this day $1,150 a month.
Let me ask you this. I know buying houses is one thing, but can you buy the land? How easy is it to buy the land that the house is on?
You can buy land, and you can just buy raw land.
Okay.
So let's say there's a plot of land for $6,000. You can get a credit card and go buy that land. Same thing what I do with my properties. I buy my houses using credit. See, one thing that keeps a lot of people poor is we think we have to save money to
make
get in
money.
position. You don't save for a rainy day. You invest for a rainy day, because you will never outsave inflation. You will never outsave, the cost of living. And if you really think about it, the average median income for a single person in Las Vegas is what, like 40-something thousand? How are you going to save money when the average rent is $1,500? The average car note is $912 on top of gas and,
Yeah, I've been
everything else.
saying with this inflation now, and I mean, I have a pretty good fixed income. I'm noticing it, just in the gas and the groceries. And I'm like, if I'm noticing it,
Could you imagine?
I can't
somebody-
imagine just the average family.
Right.
They're really noticing it. Because I'm like, I am noticing it 100%.
So this why we have to learn how to invest early. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I really try to push and focus whenever I'm working with individuals. I mean, I have athletes who are worried. We're talking about people who got
I think I've seen some
$50 million
people on here.
contracts. And I'm like, look, we got to start maximizing your contract days, because once you out the league, now you scrambling. And so now you're investing in the barber shop. You're investing in the restaurants, and those things.
Or drug dealers,
Hey,
Midwest.
yeah,
we in the Midwest. We in the
we've
Midwest.
heard some stories.
Yeah. We in the Midwest.
Well, I think
It's all
that
good.
I think I read a thing on that really good receiver Marvin Harrison.
Right.
He opened a bar or something wherever. But yeah, I mean, as dumb as it sounds, athletes, even people in the music biz,
I mean,
they just don't. They're not managing.
I work with all of them.
Yeah.
I work with all of them. And but once they really learn, and that's the thing I tell people, like real estate, like success with money it's all concepts and it's math. Meaning like I buy cash flow, and so somebody asked me, well, what does that mean?
Right. I was just about to ask you.
I
that.
got you. So that means that if I want to make, let's say, an additional $10,000 a month, I just go figure out what I have to buy that's already making $10,000 and figure out how much it's going to cost me. So from let's say if it's a real estate standpoint, or let's even say I'm going to go buy a business. Let's say there's a vending machine business for sale.
Have you ever
Just
done that?
talking about that.
I buy businesses, yes.
Okay, like the vending machine business.
I haven't done vending
Oh, okay,
machines
okay,
though.
okay.
But let's just say it's
My
a
wife
vending
was just
machine
talking
business
about that.
that's making $10,000 a month, and they're selling that vending machine business for $100,000. You're not paying 100. You don't have to even come up with the whole 100,000. You can go get an SBA 7A loan. They'll put up 90%. You bring 10%. So now all I have to do is come with $10,000. I can go borrow that from the bank. And so now I just bought $10,000 of cash flow, and the debt on the 90,000 from SBA and the 10,000 on my credit cards may cost me, let's just say $2,000. So now I'm net profit $8,000.
Yeah.
And so it's all mathematics. And so once we've calculated that, we can eliminate money being the issue, because all I have to do is go borrow the money to buy the cash flow.
Boom.
I love the way
Why does
that
everybody
you explain that.
Why does everybody say it's so hard to get like loans from banks?
Because they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I figured.
What if you have like a low credit score? Is that
That's
does
why
that
they
make
go
it
get
hard?
credit is king.
Hey, okay.
So I eliminate
Yeah, I
the
love that.
guesswork.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean they just
All
say.
right.
I mean it's
I'm
crazy,
sold.
but it's
I'm
Hey, well, we got a book. We got a
Well,
book.
I'll
Yeah.
answer that for you
I'm
though
gonna start
in
reading that
real
too.
time. True. The reason why a lot of people think it's hard because we've been so losing. Think about it. Hey, come and get this car with bad credit. Come and buy this house with bad credit. Like everything that's been
Yeah.
pushed, especially to lower economical people, it's about, hey, stay losing.
right.
even I used to say that in Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, everybody buying their phones from the 7-Eleven, the cards. and-
Right.
Little cricket.
It's designed to keep poor
It's-
people
it's
poor.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
and
it is.
so
The chirps and all that.
Yeah.
All
so
that, yeah.
so we've been
Minute phone.
pushed to stay in a place of a deficit and stay losing. So that's why we think it's difficult. This shit isn't hard. I tell people this is 5th grade math. When you learn that 1 + 1 is 2, that's how simple this is. So if this property is going to cost me $1,000, I just make sure the rent is going to pay me $1,100. And if I'm $100 profit at the end of the month, I'm winning.
Yeah, a lot of people got confused when I bought those houses. You know, a lot of people in the rental game, they don't realize most
Right.
people are renting their houses for the mortgage. So a lot of people aren't even putting that, what he's saying, the 100. They should put the 100 on them. A lot of them don't. Like I know that when I put my houses out, they're for the dead mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, because I was telling people it doesn't matter if you moved into a rental that was brand new, built this year, or 10 years old. They go by the square footage, so it's almost the same price. So I'm like, I'd rather go move in a brand new house versus an older house. But I wasn't making no money.
Right.
I was doing like what you said. It would have been generational. I mean, like further down the road.
Right.
And I mean, I know once people refi and do stuff like that, well, now they can maybe go up to that 300-400.
Right.
But most people rent their house for what their mortgage is.
Yeah, and that's because they haven't looked at it from a business. Like, if you ask 10 people who are in real estate investors, 70 to 80% of them probably make no money in real estate. They own real
I
estate
believe
just to
that.
say,
Just to
"Oh, I own
have-
real estate."
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I got into this to make not only money, but then also to build a portfolio. And when you own it the right way, I tell people you make your money in real estate at the front end of the transaction, not the back end. Because if you get in upside down, this is why people got to sell their houses for pennies on the dollar. And then somebody
Exactly.
like me come in and I'm giving you 47 cents on the dollar. Yeah, I'm not giving you.
Dude, my
market.
house that was 1.6 million sold for 260. And like I went to LA, I came back. I went to LA for 2 years, came back. The house was still sitting there, and then it sold for the
That's
two.
like 14 cents on the dollar.
And I was like, how? And like even when it was going on, I'm like, am I dumb? Is it music business people? Are we dumb? But I'm like, no, there's doctors and dentists and all kinds of people. They're all in the same boat. They're all having to leave.
Right.
But I mean, nobody was there to say, hey, bro, keep your renters there, because I could have got all my money back. They didn't even touch those houses.
That's the crazy part. I met so many
Nobody
people
told
who,
me that, man.
who lost in the real estate bubble. And I said, and when I went down and start asking questions, I'm like, where's it still renting for at least the cost of the mortgage? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, so why'd you get rid of it?
I had great renters.
That's great.
I was told by the bankruptcy attorney, he's like, look, you can keep one house, one car. And I was so fucked up over everything that was happening. I'm like, I just was like, you know what? I told everybody, I'm like, yo, you guys got to be out in 30 days. Pack my shit, move to L.A., come back 3 years later, and all the houses are still sitting
You know why the
untouched.
bankruptcy attorney told you that, right?
No.
Because he make his fees off of you filing bankruptcy.
Like
That-
shit.
He's not a real estate person. That's just like when I talk to accountants. I tell
Well, I'm
people
like,
who
how
bring me their
did
accountants,
nobody
"You
in
don't
that
know real
day?
estate?"
How come nobody in that day knew that?
Lack
Like
of-
to say like, yo,
lack of knowledge.
keep rent, like keep it going.
Because you got to remember, most people who were buying up all these homes really wasn't doing it for real estate
Yeah,
because it was easy.
California
If you could fog
people.
a mirror, they gave you a house back then.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's what they said. They said countrywide with me, like, you know, they were
Literally.
saying credit wise, you wouldn't even have got a house, but the fact you had 25 grand, then you're
They
approved.
didn't care if you
approved.
if you fogged a mirror.
Yeah.
You got a property back then. It was like they were Oprah before Oprah. You get a house. You get like
Right.
it was just
Everybody
giving
gets a
everybody a
house.
house,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
and they didn't care. But because there was no quote unquote financial literacy back then, nobody knew. It was just like, oh, this is the American dream, and like I always
This
say,
is
the
how you do
American
it.
dream is to keep you sleep, so you don't know this shit.
Well, you know something, you know something odd that they told me. So I was so happy with my house. I was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck.
So that's
I'll just keep it at a loss, and then
that's the other thing. True.
yeah.
The other thing is that because it's been sold as like, oh, this is the pinnacle of living. You own a house. A lot of successful, wealthy people don't even own the house they live in.
Right.
They buy rentals because look, you may not want to be tied to Las Vegas. You may want to have be able
something
to
I was
live
gonna
here in Vegas
yeah.
and live partially in the the Caribbean. So like, no, I only invest in things that's gonna make me money. So I don't. Me personally, Will Roundtree does not need a $5 million house.
Well, that makes sense because I tell people, you know, if people's lifestyles that bounce around, like, hey, if you know that for the last 10 years of your life you moved 4 times, why would you buy a 30-year fixed?
It doesn't
home?
make sense.
You ain't gonna live in that home. You're gonna live there 3 years and want to sell it because you're ready to move somewhere else.
And then if you're an athlete, you definitely
not,
Yeah.
and that's because they've learned to be able to tap that into our emotions. Again, the American dream is basically wooing people to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you buy this house, your life will be grand.
It's complete.
Right.
Right.
And
Why
so-
the
You
picket
can get a
fence?
dog
and then
in
they
the
tell you
backyard.
buy the house cash. That is the dumbest thing.
Oh, don't tell
To
me
do.
that.
Like I can remember
Just
in
did that.
2018, I thought about paying the balance off of my home. And then I thought about it, and I remember and I still have mentors. He said, Will, why would you tie up that amount of money that's not going to make you any money? Your mortgage is your cheapest money you have. Go take that money and go buy 5 more houses.
Well, you know something weird. Tell me if this. You know, in California, I would say 2 years ago,
Right.
we got influxed by California.
Correct.
So the realtor came. I was happy. I just lived in one of those AmeriWest 3-level homes.
Uh-huh.
Perfect.
Where
Didn't
you
wanna-
can high five your neighbor.
Yeah, didn't. Well, I didn't need anything more.
Right.
And I was happy. And then I get a knock on the door, and the realtor's like, "Yo, if you can be out in 30 days, I can make you $100,000. I got a cash buyer." And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? You know, the house was I only paid $500,000 for it, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm ready to level up, a little bit or whatever. So I did the deal, and then I go out and I start hitting houses around, the McDonald Ranch area,
Right.
and they'd
No
be
way.
like, okay, this house is 900. What do you offer? 900. And then I wouldn't hear nothing for a week or two, and then I'd be like, yo, what's going on? Oh, someone paid 1.1 cash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I got outbidded by cash people from California.
Yeah.
6 houses. I turn around, I tell the person who cashed me that I was going to back out the deal. So then they're like, well, we're going to sue you. So then finally, I cashed out a house. Went cash
Right.
cash in hand, $800,000. Paid it outright, but I had to. Because if I didn't, that's what everybody was doing.
Right.
California came in and was paying like $300-$400 over the fucking.
yeah.
So that's actually one of the things that's happening now in the real estate market is, and why there's no inventory. You have a bunch of people who have homes at mortgages at 3%.
Right.
Yep.
And so let's go back to that scenario.
Yeah.
Hey, True, I'm gonna come and cash you out and give you, let's say, $700,000 for your house. You'll make $100,000 over ask. You was at 3%. So if you turn around and go buy that exact same purchase price at 8%, your mortgage now goes from, let's say, $2,500 to $4,900. The average person can't stomach that, but because they don't know the cost of money, somebody who may not be in a financial situation like yourself, they just got boxed out. So they can't even go and buy the exact same purchase price, even with the money they just got cashed out at. And so this is why we have to know these concepts and understand what the cost of money is. And yeah, nobody see. They just said, "Hey, own a house."
Are you doing better with your houses here or in Milwaukee?
So primarily, my rental portfolio is better in Milwaukee, and here's why. In Vegas, rental income is not viable, and I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't meet the equation of 1 + 1 being 2. So right now, the average purchase price in Vegas is, let's say, $450. At $450, let's say your mortgage is $3,500. I can't rent that property for $3,500. It may rent for $25.
Right.
And so now I'm already at a deficit, and there's some people who would do that just to say I own real estate here. So, but it's costing them $1,000 every month. That's not smart business. You know, Warren Buffett said, rule number 1, business 101, never lose money.
Never.
Rule number 2, repeat step number 1. And so you got so many people going into business at a deficit, and this is why I use the term, this is why they get jammed up. And so now there is a strategy in Las Vegas that can make you money where you can do co-living, where you're renting out bedrooms. And so I'm about to close on a deal where we're doing that. There's still some Airbnb opportunities, but they've changed the laws with Airbnb.
Yeah, out
So
here in Vegas.
the money isn't the same unless you're far out or 1,000 feet from another place.
It's actually a tough hustle too.
It is.
Like I mean, I heard you
Airbnb.
say, you had property managers and whatever. I was doing it, and I was doing it myself, and I'm like, you're putting in all that work, and on, let's say you just got a little apartment off the strip,
return.
you're gonna get like $1,000 maybe, but the work you put in, because people in Vegas, it's every 2 days, every 2 days, every 2.
Literally.
That's why I was
Like
gonna
a
say,
turnaround.
when you say that long term, even people buying or renting out here, it's like you said, people are in and out of here so quick. Milwaukee, someone moves in, you're probably gonna have a tenant for 10 years.
We have
20.
I have properties
seriously.
where they've been there
Gonna
30
retire there.
years.
Yeah.
I'm like, look,
Yeah.
you could have bought this
Right.
house.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My grandfather got mad at me when I asked him that. He was like, I lived here for like 28 years. I said, why you ain't buy it?
Yeah.
And the house be
He
like
just got mad at me. He didn't even tell me why.
$5,000. It's like
Right.
So
Yeah.
Come on, man. Could have bought this.
Oh,
for
that's crazy. So generally, when you get people, I mean, I know we had a guy. Shout out to Fox Pena.
Oh yeah, Fox. That's my man.
Yeah,
Fox.
he-
What up, Fox?
Yeah, he came in here and he said,
Chicago.
he said the reason he got into the credit repair game is he
Right.
said he owned a mortgage company out here. He was
Smart.
here in the high time when it was popping.
Right.
And what he said was, he I forgot how he explained it, but he said then he's like, you go over to like, he used the term like Hispanic people, and he was like, literally there'd be one little thing on their fucking credit report that would rule them out.
Real talk.
And so he was like, my whole thing with the credit repair was to get that little fucking thing off there. And so that he said that's how he started, in credit repairs. He said, I forgot why it was Hispanic people, but he said that's who they were jamming up,
Right.
and it'd be just something stupid, just
No,
one little
I
too many
believe it.
inquiries, something.
I believe it. So that's how I got my start in building my base.
Yeah.
Is that I would partner with realtors, and so believe it or not, a lot of realtors know nothing about credit, and so I'm like, look,
But yet that goes hand in hand.
it goes hand in hand. So
Yeah,
I'm like, look,
for
what if
sure.
I can help you increase your customer base or approvals by 30%? How can you do that, Will? Send me your clients who got bad credit. I'll get them fixed, send them back to you. Now you have a qualified client, and it costs you nothing in marketing. So I've cut their marketing costs.
How long? So if you were working with a realtor, and let's just say they got a client, he's got something bad. How long of and he's trying to buy right then and there. How quick of a turnaround is it that you're fixing whatever that problem is?
So times have definitely changed since
Yeah.
06, 07.
Yeah, for
I always
sure.
tell people it depends on what your credit score, what's on your credit. But then I also find out what the lender needs them, where the lender needs them at to qualify. So for example, there's so many components that makes up a score and what drives the score down. So let's say they're 5 points off, and that 5 points is consisted of their credit card balances are too high. So I'll go to them and say, hey, can we just add an authorized user to this person's credit? So I can go and now add them on to somebody else's credit card. They get that history. Literally, their score is jumping overnight. So now they
Wow.
qualify. So it really
Yeah,
just
I was
depends.
did
gonna
not know
ask you that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
talked to a credit
Wow.
repair guy. He was a real good friend of mine. I didn't even know what he
Loopholes.
did.
The
Right.
loophole.
And he told
Swear.
me, he goes, "Hey man," he's like, "I could, he's like, I can make your credit better." He's like, but he's like, you hang out with a lot of bosses. He's like, bro, he goes, my company charges $1,200. He goes, I make $200. The guy putting you on his card, he makes $1,000.
Right.
He adds you to his card. You get his history. He said it takes about 30 days to hit the credit report.
Right.
But then when it hits, you apply for your credit because now you got
build it
his
up.
history. Somebody told me, so he's like, yo, you find someone with a black card, whatever. But I think Fox, when
You
he
don't
was
even
here,
need a black card.
Yeah, Fox, I think
Yeah.
said you can't even do it with a black card
Yeah, you
anymore.
can't.
You just want somebody with a good
It can
history.
be a,
Right.
Capital One.
But you can still do that now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now there are certain things that it won't be applicable for, but from a credit boosting standpoint, now it also depends on what it is they're trying to qualify for.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that's one of the,
I tested it because
Yeah,
when
no,
someone
it
told
does
me,
help.
I actually Domoed a girl that was on our show. I added her to 2 of my cards, and she had no credit. That next
Oh, I'm
month,
telling you,
boom, my
it-
credit
it-
became her credit.
it definitely helps. And I often tell
Shit.
people I was one of the first blacks on the internet that talked about credit repair. My video in 2017, I think right now has like 1.8 million views on how to
wow.
get the perfect credit score. So like I kind of helped birth like this industry where you see pretty much everybody and their grandmama talking about they do credit now. But I was doing it back when it was so taboo. Like people were scared of it because, and if you really think about it, especially in our community,
Yeah.
credit really only been around or talked about like the last 5 years.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, that's true.
You go back and ask your parents about credit, they probably
like,
didn't
what?
know. They're like,
I
I had
never
a
even
J.C.
really
Penney card.
thinking
That's
about-
it. Right?
Yeah, thinking about
My
it
mom
now.
said credit cards are bad, and I was like, okay, I'm never getting a credit card.
Yeah.
And then I actually got a credit card, and my credit score went up even more
That's
than what
I'm
it already
saying.
is.
So
I'm like,
it's only
damn.
really been around in the public at the capacity it's at only about 5 years.
Right.
So this concept is still so new to people, but the
Thinking
concepts
about
are
it
really
growing
old.
up. Yeah, thinking about it growing up, I don't think I've ever heard my mom or dad say, "Oh, my credit score." I don't even think I ever heard it come out of their mouth. Period.
Now
Well,
they're
first
asking.
of all, remember those 99-cent CDs? That
Yeah.
give you
Oh,
10
yeah,
CDs?
yeah.
And, yeah, that's what fucked a lot of black
oh
people
yeah, because
shit up.
for that penny,
Yeah,
they put
that
that on your
penny.
credit.
Hey,
That's it.
what was the gym in Detroit that got zapped? Everybody.
The
There was
Powerhouse. Powerhouse?
No. I
used to go
forget.
there.
There was a gym, a particular brand, a huge one. The second you would fuck off, like
Oh,
everybody
they
fucks
they
off,
sent it to your credit.
right to your credit, and they did it to so many people and fucked so many people up that they just ended them. They're like, you guys can't fuck
Yeah,
nobody's credit up no more.
there were major lawsuits with gyms across the country because they were signing people up for gym memberships under the age of 18,
Oh,
messing
yeah.
up their credit.
Damn, I want to
And
know
so-
what that was in Detroit.
So yeah, so like I say, credit is really kind of a new phenomenon.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
5
Totally.
years max. But this was stuff I was talking about so long ago that, people used to like, you do that credit thing? I'm like, yeah, but it's changed my life and it's really helped so many people. And I mean, I've been able to travel the world because of
That's
what I
amazing.
learned about this thing called credit.
What would you so let's say somebody came to you today and they said, "Hey, I just filed bankruptcy a
Right.
week ago. How do I get how long do you think it would take you to get them back on track?"
Great question. So it depends on the type of bankruptcy they filed. Okay. So now they have what's called the wage earners bankruptcy where you have to pay back all of the debt. You're stuck in that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the bankruptcy where they've discharged it, you can start, rebuilding your credit immediately. It depends on the type of debt you have.
That's the one that I did.
Yeah. So that may take you, it may take 3 months. It may take 12 months. But I tell people, let's just say if it did take you a year, if you do nothing, you're going to be stuck with it for 10 years anyway. So it's worth the time. And I think we get so caught up in this, I call it a microwave or a sitcom time frame.
Right.
We watch a sitcom and Eddie Winslow steals from the bank and he's back at home in 30 minutes. Well,
Yeah.
24 with commercials. And so we that's how we live life. We think things are supposed to happen like that. And I'm like, look, even if it took you 12 months, you're still going to be better than a person who doesn't know this information.
And then Instagram
Yeah,
people
sure.
think
Oh,
this
my
even
gosh.
faster. They
Oh,
think everything's in 30
they think
seconds.
12 minutes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. And when I talk about my 4 step methodology of wealth building. That's why, number one, I focus so much on mindset. You have to literally reprogram how you think about money, how you think about credit, how you think about your life, how you think about what your expectation is. Because we think because we work hard, we deserve something nice.
Right.
No, you deserve what you've worked for,
Period.
or where you are in your life. So you could work hard for 20 years, and if you make $10 an hour, that doesn't mean you deserve a mansion.
Exactly.
Did you put yourself in position to get them? So,
And then you don't really want a mansion anyway, because everybody you know that's homeless, they're gonna try to stay with you. That's what happened to me. Fuck this house, man.
So-
Noting
yeah.
not getting a mansion in my future.
Jesus, man.
Just kidding.
That's some real shit though, if you think about it.
Well, one thing I noticed
I don't know homeless
going
people.
into
But not homeless, they just
No,
turn
but
homeless.
shit happens. Yeah,
Well,
shit
go-
happens.
Maybe
dude.
that was their rock bottom. They're coming to live with you.
Maybe.
going in big,
Hey,
going
maybe you're
in,
the savior.
in
There
big
you go.
houses. I even said so. I've went from a 20,000 square foot house,
Right.
and then talking about that AmeriWest, I want to say was 3,500.
Right.
But I still said to myself when it was just me, a single person,
Makes sense.
I'm like, it didn't make sense because I'm like, I feel like I'm just fucking buying things for these rooms that make no sense. Like I could live so simplified, but it becomes like your storage unit. I call it, like when you're in a house like that and you're solo.
Let me buy more to put more.
Yeah, like
Put it
I
in
gotta put
there.
a bed in the 3 extra rooms.
You know
Yeah.
what's so funny? You guys ever watch those HGTV shows?
Yeah,
where
I
they're
love
showing
them.
people how to buy houses.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The funniest part to me is nobody buy a house to say, "Oh, this is perfect for me and my spouse." They say, "Oh, we need a room to entertain. We got to have a kitchen for." I'm like, so people
They're
really
always thinking
buy
about
stuff
somebody else.
for other people who
Yeah.
not
Right.
contributing.
Right.
Yes.
That's
Think
facts,
about that.
yeah. That is true.
I fucked my life up doing that. I'm telling you.
I see it all the time, Spank.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We buy things, or most decisions we make, we have it with other people in mind. Man, I'm gonna get this car, so all of the gonna be
All
at
the
me.
girls.
Hey, here's
You know what I'm saying?
something.
So it's
Here's
like
something
everything
like
we do is-
here's something like private
fucked
about
up,
myself,
man.
and you can tell me your opinion on this.
All right.
So I told people, when money's like a roller coaster. I said I've had millions, went to nothing, millions went to nothing. It's like a roller coaster.
Definitely.
So then what I started doing to curb my spending habits is I'd buy assets. So even if I don't need anything, like I'm like, okay, boom, I just came up a couple 100,000. I'll take it. I'll go buy a couple cars. I'll buy some TVs. But I'm like, I spend it all. And they're like, yo, why are you doing that? And I'm like, because if I don't, I'll be the fucking idiot at Excess dropping $3,000 on a fucking table.
Right.
So I'm like, at least I go in my brain, I'm like, I'm buying assets. I'm buying stuff.
Right.
And again,
No.
I know I don't need some of
Right.
that
So
stuff.
now, to that point, that's
Yeah.
actually a very good strategy, True.
Yeah.
But now we got to classify what asset column those assets you're buying are in.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
So now we
And
got to
that's my
classify
problem
that.
as well.
And
That's
so
why
that's where I'm going to come in and be like, yo, Spank, no, this is an asset that's going to make you money. That's just some shit we think is an asset.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a big
No, I had a spare room that only once in a while a friend comes to town. I put an 80-inch TV in there, and I'm like, why?
right.
You know what I mean? But it looks good.
It looks good though.
So-
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm
I
never
just
gonna
saw
watch
on
it in there.
TikTok where somebody had a little thing about this size, and now it's a movie projector.
oh my
I've
gosh!
seen
Wait,
that
that's
too.
kind of
I've
cute.
seen that.
So it's like
I want
instead
one.
of paying
It's dope. Just on the
now,
wall.
although now 80-inch TVs they like $500.
Yeah,
now.
no,
They're
it's
super
cheap.
Yeah,
cheap.
they're
Right.
so cheap.
But
Yeah, they are.
we just got to find out where the asset column is at, or what side the asset column it falls in, so we can make. So next time you get 100,000, let me help you park that money.
What do you think
you know
about?
that
You know how
part.
people always say cars are the worst. What do you think about that?
It depends on the type of vehicle. Now, most vehicles that the average person buys has horrible resale value.
Thank you.
What if you bought a car to rent it out?
Then
Like a
yeah,
Turo
if
type,
it's
like a
making you
Turo type
money-
business.
Yeah, I was one of the first to put out a course on Turo.
Yeah, I did. I did the
this-
Toro hustle.
This was before it was
You think
popular.
Turo is better than Airbnb?
I would say it's a lower cost of entry
Okay.
because if you have good credit, I can go buy 5 cars with no money out of pocket to get all 5.
Hey, I'm gonna put you to the test.
All
so
right, let's go.
I sold.
Let's buy-
You know when
I'm
you
gonna
know when
buy
there
a
was
new
a
car
car
next
shortage.
week.
Yeah.
I was up to 14 cars.
For
Most
real,
of
let's
them
leverage
paid
our
off.
credit.
I got in Turo right off the rip, and I didn't need any of the money, so I applied everything
Right.
to pay off. Then all those car lots got empty. So I sold them, and I made 10, 20 over what I paid for them in the first place. But then the issue I have, so this is how I ended Toro.
Right.
I bought a 2020 Suburban, all pimped out,
Right.
lifted, everything. First customer, this was almost a year ago, totaled it.
Oh, they gonna tear your shit up.
So listen, it went to the shop. It's still there. I'm still making the payment a year later. $1,250, and Toro's doing the dance with me. Because the account wasn't in my name, so they're like, we can't talk to you. And I'm like, yes, you can, because the fucking car's in my name.
Right.
And I'm like, you got it at this shop. They go to the shop, get the car from them. This guy charged them $75 a day. He made 18 grand. And then the girl whose account it was under, she sends me a screenshot, and it says, thank you for your patience. We'll get back to you. So I'm like, normally Toro pays out and you can make a hustle on it. But I'm like, something fell through the cracks, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah, no.
Like I threatened the guy, and then he had it out of that place in one day.
So,
but now I'm like, I'm paying $1,250 a month on a car that I don't have.
So this is what happens in anything when things start to kind of go, oh damn, everybody is manipulating the system. We're gonna change the rules. So Toro just started changing the rules.
Yeah, the fact that they don't come out and look at the accident, they just say send pictures.
Right.
Well, a guy here, you actually see all them cars in that parking lot.
Yeah.
He's got 45 cars.
I'll just take a fucking picture of that.
No, he's like, I got a mechanic. It's a $3,000 dent. I charge fucking 12 grand. Toro doesn't know.
God.
Oh, when we got in the inside of the car, this was fucked up. That I didn't do any hustle like that, but now I'm like, why hasn't Toro paid me? And then who do, they don't even give you a number.
They don't.
They're like, email me.
That's what I used to do. But I sold all my cars too.
Yeah.
Because like it's
the
a
money
hard
hustle.
It is. Like the
you think
the
it's
money
like a
sounds
good like hustle for some people that's like trying to get into the hustle business?
I got in with 1,800 people. I checked 6 months ago, basically when I was getting out. There's 4,200 people in there.
So now the margins shrink.
Yeah.
Now, this is originally how I was telling people to get why they should do Toro. The pandemic is here, or even before the pandemic, because I was showing people Toro in 2018. Look, you have a car, your money's getting tight. Rent that motherfucker out when you're not driving it. So I was telling people to do it just to be able to keep up the cost of their basic living. And then it kind of spawned and like, okay, now if you're trying to make some extra money. But here's the biggest issue a lot of entrepreneurs have, or people who are new to business or making money. They spend their profits.
Right.
So they rent a car out. You make $1,000, but $1,000 isn't yours because you haven't put no money aside for taxes. You didn't put no money aside for incidentals, no money aside for maintenance. And so now when your shit get banged up, you can't afford to fix it.
Everybody who asked me, I said, yo, I don't care what you do. If you don't have extra money, when your car's in the shop getting fixed and it's in there 3 months, Toro doesn't make that payment for you.
Yeah.
You got to have 3 months of your car payments while it's down.
Or the maintenance.
The maintenance.
See, on Toro, they going to run your shit. That's why I tell people, if you get a sports car, get the base model. If you getting a nice car, get the base model, because if you got a Hemi or the Hellcats, and they tearing your shit up.
Yeah,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so like I had, a few Mercedes. I got the base models. And then when you got then they don't think about the maintenance. Tires,
Everything.
$2,000. Brake
Exactly.
job, $3,000.
And
Oil change,
I was
$500.
just about to
Yeah.
say that.
And so nobody ever
So true.
calculates that, and that's why I say, like, nobody ever looks at the math of business.
Right.
We look at I can buy a vehicle and drive my favorite car, and somebody gonna pay the payment, but they ain't helping you pay the maintenance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so nobody looks at the totality of when it comes to making money.
So
And this is why it's so hard for people.
if you had to like give like young entrepreneurs or just anyone that's trying to like get out there and start a hustle, what would you say the best first hustle is? Like, do you say like go straight into like real estate, or would you say there's something a little bit more approachable that people can get into?
I always say the first thing is make sure your credit is solid.
Okay.
And here's why, because
I need to do that. for
see,
sure.
when you have good credit, think about this. You can go to as many banks as you want and get the capital to start a business. And so regardless of what the hustle is or what the business is, one thing I do know for sure, everybody has had an opportunity come past their lap that they couldn't afford to invest in. Why? Because they don't have the money, and then they're scrambling. And but if you got the credit And if I know if I need 50 grand, I can go to any bank right now in Las Vegas when you have the right documentation and all of the data points, especially if I have a business set up properly. I can go to not only any bank, but I can go to 5 banks and get 50,000 from each 5 banks. So now I have 250,000.
And you don't have to like prove your
If
like
it's-
how much
if it's
money you're
revolving
making on the
credit,
monthly.
they don't
if
even
you have like good
ask.
credit.
They don't even ask.
Shit.
So now I got
shit.
Let's get to it then.
250,000, and so let's say now I want to go buy a laundromat. I want to like we have to, and we also tell people let's stop thinking we got to buy low end type of businesses.
What do you think about? I know something popular right now with everybody is this drop shipping stuff, the Amazon.
Here's what I tell people.
Drop shipping is going to get cut out. I feel like.
Here's what I tell
Yeah,
people:
I think so.
if it's making you money, buy it. I think we put too much thought into should I do this or should I do
I
that?
definitely do. That's for
Get-
sure.
If it's making money,
Yeah.
buy it. But then you also got to look at what your exit strategy
Can you do that with
is.
hookers?
Hey, you never know.
Never know.
If they take
Nothing like a good $1,000 a night
A lot
hooker.
of
they
couple
take
of
credit
them.
cards.
Always throw 'em
Nothing
out.
like
Hey.
it. Nothing like it.
So, but yeah, it
You can
really.
cash app them too. That's that's a receipt when you cash app.
Oh
them.
yeah, that's a tax write-off.
Come on now.
Look, because you gotta get your tax.
I know a
game
little
right,
bit
too.
about a little bit.
So do you have a set when people come to you? Is there a set rate that you give people for fixing their credit, or is it all different with each person?
So, because I know everything isn't a one size fits all, no. But I do have kind of like one of my products where it is a set fee. Because here's the thing: everybody is coming at you. They have a different story and they have a different end goal. So I base it off of whatever your end goal is. So could you imagine if everything you bought was a one size fits all? It wouldn't make sense because we don't know what you guys' end goal are. Same thing when I work with my clients one-on-one. I mean, I have some clients I've charged 10,000. I have some clients I've charged 100,000. But it's because of what they needed their end goal to become. And I think that's in speaking to my entrepreneurs, I think that's where a lot of people in business, they get stuck in this, I call it soft mode of business because because they think everything is a one size fits all when it comes to business. And so I'm not catering my prices to fit people's pockets. I'm catering my prices to fit my value. So yeah, so if my value for this person is based upon what their need is $100 grand, then that's what my fee is because you're gonna spend $100 grand at Dre's.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
So
True.
no,
Yeah.
like so my price is my price and that's one thing I'm very non-negotiable on. I've had somebody literally walk out my office because he didn't want to invest in my price, but he had on $2,500 cowboy boots.
Shit kickers.
Shit kicker.
Yeah.
And so I
That's
told
what
him,
they call
and he
them.
was like, "You sure you don't want to take?" I'm like, "No, because I don't. What I do is not for money, because I know I can go and get 100,000 from a bank and go buy a house that's gonna make me money. So I don't do my products and programs for money.
You do it to help people.
I do it because I help people, and I know it's a valuable service that actually helps people get whatever their end goal or their result
Serving
is.
a purpose.
And then you probably, when you do help people, you get a lot of residuals because then they're gonna go tell.
Yeah, I
all
built
their
my
people.
entire business off of referrals. Like I don't need to spend a lot on marketing, and I don't do the whole the whole lifestyle marketing and jumping out of jets and shit like that. Not that it's anything
Look at
wrong
me in my
with it,
Lambo.
but that's not my target audience. You know, like a motherfucker who making money, they don't give a fuck about me having a Lambo.
No.
Yeah,
They want to know, can you help me?
that part.
Only a motherfucker who don't got a Lambo.
Only the
care
person
about
who
that.
don't got a
Yes.
Lambo. So my audience, the way I approach business is a little bit different, and that's why a lot of people respect me because I don't like pimp my business out. Like, yeah, if I have something for everybody. Yeah, I got products that's $15 and I have products that's $50,000. But you know, we just got to find where you fit.
That's dope. Where can you find these books at? Are they
Yeah, Amazon.
Barnes and Noble?
Okay.
Barnes and Noble I know is with has Credit is King, and then both of them are actually on audio.
That's dope.
Audible.com as well too.
That's super dope.
That's what I need. I feel like I haven't read in so long.
I made it easy. You know, I actually wrote my book so an 8th grader can read them.
There you
That's
go.
good.
That is really good,
That
actually.
is
Yeah.
That is
I just was never a reader.
Oh, I got a
so-
question for you.
Yes.
How long did it take for you to write that book, or both books?
So
rather
the first book,
Which one was the
Yeah,
first
which one was
So
the first
Credit
one?
is King.
Okay,
It came
Credit
out
is
in
King.
2016. I think we sold maybe 30,000 copies so far.
That's amazing.
That's great.
Self-published on both of them. And so the first book, it took me, I want to say like 3 months because I was
Wow.
hungry.
Okay.
And I really had no plan on writing a book. I had a friend, Jackson Publishing, who was like, Will, you should write a book. And I was like, I don't know what to talk about. And he was like, just write about what you know. And so I wrote it about credit, and I literally was up late nights penning the whole book, well, typing it out. So that book took about 90 days. Full-time CEO, the shit they don't tell you, this book took me like almost a year. And that's because the original version, I actually scrapped it, and I had to redo it again. And so what I did was, because people were literally waiting for the book, I did a pre-launch, and I said, the first 100 people to buy my book, I'm gonna put your name in the book.
Oh,
It sold out.
wow.
It sold out in 3 hours.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great. I know what you know.
Definitely
you
standing
mean
out from the rest.
about scrapping. I've done that with scripts like so many times.
Yeah.
Man. And like be like 70 pages in and be like, man, it's whack. Fuck this shit.
yeah,
Like,
Wow.
This ain't what I was thinking. So
Yeah, that's what I had to
start all
do,
the way
man.
over. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Do you have plans of doing any more books?
Yeah, I'm actually in the works of one right now. It's going to be a book on business credit, and then I'm writing a real estate book for kids. Because I think that kids are the
Wow.
most impressionable when it comes to them retaining information.
Oh, 100%.
See, what old people, they got too much shit.
They stubborn. They already in their
stubborn.
ways.
Very
though.
You know what I'm
fixed.
saying? They got their lifestyle they trying to keep up. So they don't want to make sacrifices. And so I want to teach like high school, starting at 8th grade, because that 8th grade is the average comprehension level for adults. And so that's why my
when
books
things
are
start to
written
kick
so an
in.
8th grader can comprehend it. And so adults can.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would
amazing.
you said somebody wrote a children's book? When you say children's book, what age range was that in?
I'm not sure because I just saw they had Credit is King in the title.
Yeah.
So I just told my attorney to send a letter, tell him to take that shit down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so.
Yeah, because I don't know what's going on in schools now, but like this is the shit that they need to be talking about because,
Same shit that they was teaching when we was in school.
yeah.
Junk.
Stuff that don't work.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Literally.
I've yet to dissect a frog as an adult.
Yeah.
I got a frog.
Same.
A pet frog. I don't
I
want to
think
kill
Q's
a frog.
dissected some.
Oh, shit.
Hey, so maybe
Well-
it came in handy for
There you go.
Well, at least someone around here used it.
right.
Wasn't me.
I learn something new about him every day.
I'm finna say.
So don't fall asleep around.
Yeah.
Evil villain, that guy.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Gonna take over the world.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
That's what
Oh my
Jeffrey
goodness.
Dahmer said. He said, I did.
All the people that finish that school are doctors, right?
Oh, shit.
Oh, it's for doctors only. Sorry, my bad, Hugh. My
What
bad.
do you got
He's
over
in
there?
Training. I asked all the questions already.
I want to know what
I'm
what
on
do
good, my
you
good shit here.
what kind of music inspires you to be the person that you are?
Lose yourself?
Lose Yourself is definitely a song I listen to in the gym.
Yeah.
You know what, Spank? I'm that '90s hip hop era, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like the Nas, like the Wu. I went to the
Me too.
Wu-Tang concert.
Yeah.
That was like,
yeah, Meth is my boy. That's one of my homies.
Yeah, so it's like that music or that era of music is that's what I embody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got the NWA poster. Like that's just the era that suits me.
Yeah, it was really random because I didn't know EZ, but I definitely shook his hand many times.
Right.
But we did his son, and he was sitting right there.
Wow.
You know, that was there, so he was technically looking right at his
Yeah,
dad. But
I saw a signature on the door too.
Yeah, he sounded just like him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a weird thing for me to be like, man, I knew your dad, and now
Wow.
you're sitting here at 40. What did he say he was, 42?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Oh,
he's-
wow.
he was
Turning
like
40.
40. He was turning
Oh,
40.
Turning
wow.
40. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it would be that.
Sounded.
So,
just-
are
just
you
like-
happy with the outcome of the Tupac? The shit. Do you think they caught the right person, or you think it's even deeper?
That two of the case.
Tupac
Yeah,
Free
Yeah.
Keefy D?
They caught Keefy D, and you think he's gonna bring up Puffy? Everybody's saying Puffy pay for it. So,
Man, there's been so many conspiracy stories out there around that.
mhm.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Gene Deal. We have him scheduled. He's gonna be coming through. That was Diddy's bodyguard.
Okay.
Now I just watched something the other day on the internet, and he's really against Diddy, but he just said in the end, right now, there's no fucking proof on him or Keefy D, and he's like Keefy D's gonna get let go, and Puffy isn't gonna get touched. And I mean, he's super against Puffy. I mean, he's dropping bombs on him,
see,
but he just said in this matter, there's no evidence.
Yeah, it's. I think now it's just like, is it propaganda or are people?
I
really,
think it's because of this when this little presidential race starts.
Yeah.
That's when they're gonna ramp that shit up even more. Like, oh, this is happening because it don't even make sense what's happening to him
It
on the
doesn't.
news.
I think Keefe D just killed both of them. I think the guy that they say in the bow tie, the Amir Muhammad guy,
Muhammad
guy.
I think that's a made up guy. One thing I know about California, I stayed in L.A. a lot of my life, almost 30 years.
Okay.
So, about 25 years. But anyway, I know this. When a person does something in L.A., like bad to you, they stay there, but they change their clothes and they come back and they just to see what's going on. So because I know that people will change their clothes, I think Keefe D went to the party. He went and checked Puffy. He went to check temperature. He was like, whatever. He went back outside. He put that bow tie shit on, and he sat in the car because he knew they was coming. That's just what I think.
Yeah.
That's how he killed Biggie. He killed Tupac. The reason why he said Orlando did it is because he died first. If we was
Right.
all robbing the bank, the first nigga that died did everything.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why he
Blame
blamed it on him.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But how it goes, I mean, everybody in the car is guilty anyways.
Yeah, but if you say, yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
But Suge said on a radio interview, he said it was only 2 guys in the car. So they kept lying to say that he was in the back seat and this guy was in the back
That's what
seat.
Gene Deal said.
Yeah, it was
Eventually,
only 2 guys in the car.
he said Keefe D.
It wasn't
and
nobody
Suge
in the back.
Wow.
are liars.
Yeah.
So he said Keefe D could have said how that all went down just to get off that drug charge. That could have been
Yeah.
a lie. About
Yeah,
it.
That's what I'm
course.
saying. It's like it's so much propaganda around it. It's like
I just laugh how Vegas comes forward and this being the spot, you know, especially with that shooting and
Yeah.
the weirdness behind that. But all of a sudden, Vegas rushes in like, oh, we just fucking solved the case, you know, the century. Like,
No, because the guy died.
watch
Remember
the Biggie's killer
27
3 years from
later.
now,
Yeah.
next presidential election,
Yeah.
they're going to find
gonna pull
Biggie.
it up
They're
again,
going to pull it
yeah.
up again.
Like they had a TV series called Unsolved.
Oh, I love that.
That was all around that.
I love that
Yeah,
show.
it was actually
Yeah.
it was a good series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To me, that was the best played Tupac. To
it
me.
was. It
To me.
was.
Yeah. 'Cause they let
you didn't like the
play
movie?
Tupac. No. Well, I can't say that because one of my great friends, LT Hutton, was responsible for the movie. I'll just say, LT, you didn't put me in that motherfucker, so I like the other one better.
Did you like
I
the acting?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think they rushed it.
But I like.
think they rushed the
okay,
ending.
Okay,
rushed the
I'll go
ending.
with that. And I didn't like the Jada Pinkett, but I like the Netflix version of
Right.
it. That shit was cold.
Right, yeah, definitely.
It was straight to the point.
Did you see Dear Mama on Hulu?
I got to see that. I
That
don't
was
know.
really
I think
good.
I seen that, but I'm not
I
sure.
think it was the Hughes brothers
Oh, okay.
where they kind of broke down like Tupac's relationship with his mother, and I actually learned quite a bit.
I did
about
see
Pac.
that.
Yeah, that
I
was
did
good.
see
That
that.
was good.
Yeah. And then this is another thing I didn't know that what's the guy name? I forget his name, but it's 2 white dudes that did a story about the Tupac murders.
Okay.
Two one big famous actor too. One he's white though. I can't. Brad Pitt. I don't think it's Brad Pitt. It's one of them.
It
Though.
better not have been Brad Pitt.
No, I think it is. He played He played the older cop.
Really?
The one who died
Okay.
at the end. Russell Poole. He played.
Oh,
Russell
I
Poole.
can see him playing
Yeah,
that guy.
and then and it was the other guy that with the slanted eye. I can't think of none of these motherfuckers' names right now.
Bruce Lee,
Not Bruce Lee.
Jackie Chan.
The guy who played Harlem, Bumpy Johnson.
Okay.
What's his name? Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. Okay, I
so
do remember
Forrest
that one.
Whitaker
Yeah, yeah.
in it, and the other guys in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
But Forrest Whitaker not white. You said 2 white dudes.
No, it was but it is another white guy too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Forrest Whitaker is white.
He is kind of white. No, but he got hair
like-
bumps, so
it's
he
a
can't be
few.
white with hair bumps.
Hey, is it true that he got a brother that
Yeah.
looked just like him?
Yeah, that looks exactly like.
And I
him.
heard he been in some of the movies playing as Forrest Whitaker.
exactly.
Oh my god.
It-
Yeah, did you say yesterday we were talking about podcast? Did you say you went on somebody's podcast that was part of Wildin' Out? Was that you? that was
85 South.
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
You like him?
Mhm.
Who are? I don't even know.
That
I don't
response gave it
follow the
enough.
cast. I know
DC
you.
Young Fly is my guy.
Right.
Yeah.
All of them my guys,
Right,
though.
right,
All of them my guys.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. Here's the thing with the older generation of Wildin' Out and the young ones, right?
So these guys are younger guys. the
Yeah,
one that he's on.
I trained I didn't train DC. He came way after me. But Carlos and Chico, I had to train them because their first go around was in New York, and that was like a 4-year hiatus when Nick was married to Mariah. We wasn't shooting shit during that whole time. So at like kind of like at the end of their relationship, that's when we started. So I say all that to say, I don't know them, and what they know about me is like when they was coming in, I was going out. I was the nigga saying, "Okay, you better watch yourself." I was everybody else happy and go lucky. I'm like, "Okay, you better save some money. Okay, this is not something you're gonna retire off of." And I guess they just never heard nobody speak negative of it, so they kind of
That young Hollywood though.
Wow. Like, what's up with this guy?
Right.
So because I'm the guy that quit and I'm the guy who don't give a fuck about doing that, I'm weird to them. Or I'm a mystery to them. So it's like, well, why did he quit? Like, yeah, motherfucker, because y'all getting fucked, nigga. Right. I already knew y'all was about to get fucked.
But isn't that young Hollywood though?
They
People
drop
are
the
just
soap.
so happy to get on. I think people are so happy to get on TV, they do it for free.
Yeah, because that's what happened. So I was against being paid a lot of money, and then we got substituted by people who never been on TV that they could pay $1,000 to. Right. So I was definitely not happy with that. Like, what the fuck? Like, nah, man, who is this guy? Who is that guy? Like, when I was doing Wild 'N Out, you knew who everybody was. Right. That's Cat Williams. That's him. It was all stars.
Well, I think you said something important is like, yeah, put your money up. And right. I think in business, whether it's Wild 'N Out or, whatever you're doing, I think that's something that nobody teaches people.
Right.
Hey, all right, you made this amount of money. Let's put it away in something that's going to still make you some money. Because there's going to be some ebbs and flows of that.
Say that again?
I said, did you go wrong in that part?
Spanky did wrong a lot of times. A lot of shit you said do, I did.
I did.
That's why I've been so quiet. I've been just seeing the movie in my head. Right. Like, damn, I remember when I did that. I remember when I fucked up like that.
Here's a good thing, Spank.
I was young.
But
they give it to you young, so you can fuck it up.
Hey, do you charge white people more?
And if you don't, starve. God damn it. They charge us more.
Like, yeah.
Is it a market to do that?
Hey, they charge us more. Fuck it.
But no, the good thing about a lot of what I'm sharing is like, no matter where you are, and if you've had those mishaps, you can always rebound.
Okay.
But the hardest part for some people is getting over the denial, because I meet so many people who used to be.
Well, that's what I'm definitely gonna talk to you, because I'm in a state where I'm gonna, like I said, I'm like, buying, selling houses, bought and sold 14 cars.
Yeah,
I can't get a loan.
Now we got to do it a lot smarter.
I'm ready to leverage my credit.
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
I got you.
I did something, and I'm like, how can somebody who's never missed a payment since that bankruptcy in 2007, never missed a payment on anything, and has bought the things I've bought? How can I not get a loan?
You probably don't have the right data points on your credit, and
it's debt to credit ratio.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing too that I've learned. A lot of people go in with the wrong language to the banks.
Right, I can see that.
Hey, let me get a loan versus, hey, let me apply for a line of credit.
Right.
See, with a loan, there's a lot of recourse involved. So you got to have paperwork, tax returns, etc. Versus I can go get a business credit card and I have to show proof of income.
Like shit.
So it's people not knowing the right language. So this is why I say finance is a language.
Right.
But unfortunately, nobody taught us how to speak it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Is it? I mean, how much of a role do you think that person at the bank plays in giving you that loan? Is it all about them running it through a system?
If they're a teller, very little.
Yeah.
Who it is, it's like now the business banker. This is what I tell people. When it comes to applying for credit, especially lines of credit, you're really selling a story. Meaning, being in an industry that's high risk, that's your story. So now you have a lower risk of getting approved. So now when you go, and this is why I even teach people how to communicate with the bankers and underwriters in some of my programs, where I'm like, hey, this is what you tell them what it's for. You tell them it's for operating capital. You tell them it's for debt consolidation of your credit. So when you know that language, it's different. Right. You know, when you know how to communicate and say, hey, this is what my classification code is. This is the industry I'm in. So for example, real estate is a high risk industry.
Yep.
But if I go in and say, hey, I do property preservation, or I'm a property manager, now they'll lend to you, as opposed to saying I'm a real estate investor. Credit is a high risk industry.
Who would have known
So I'll
that?
say, you know what? I'm in business management or personal management. So trucking is a
That's
high risk
so good
industry.
to
You
know.
talk about this in your book. I know one thing I fucked up on majorly, and it's just because I didn't know. When I bought those 4 houses, like the
Right.
track homes, I put a lot into it, like the beautiful appliances, upgraded everything.
Right.
Everybody's like, bro, why are you on the upgraded carpets? And they're like, bro, you got to do everything spec. Like all that money you just dropped 50 grand on the inside of the house, it's gone. That's out of your profit.
Right. Well, I don't
Nobody
talk
told
about
me
it
that.
in any of my books because I didn't put out the real estate book yet.
Yeah.
But I do teach people to be mindful of when they are putting money into a rental.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
if you got a rental, they gonna tear your shit up. Just expect it to happen.
100%.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
put material in there that's still appealing enough to where people are gonna want to rent, but not on the gaudy side because I'm not living there. And I
Right.
think a lot of times people buy real estate with the purpose of this is what's pretty to me. And I say I don't buy pretty, I buy profitable. You see what I'm saying? And so I have to help people change the way they think about any investment they make.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're gonna focus on making money.
Right.
We can buy what's pretty later.
Yeah, I saw you go in a couple houses on your IG that were just like, that they look like I saw they're on the east side, just like
Right.
boarded up windows. Like, do you have like a restoration type of team that comes in and
Absolutely.
like you see on TV, and you just got the flooring
you do the
company, the
flipping?
walls?
No, I don't flip personally because I like to retain what is going to make me wealthy. I want to retain the asset. But I have a real estate group coaching academy called REI 90, which Curtis is wearing the hoodie. I got to drop the merch plug.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I teach people how to build.
What does that
a
mean, anyways?
Real
Ari?
estate investing in 90 days. So I'm going to show you how to buy your first investment property in 90 days.
Sign
Let's
me
go.
up.
That's
And
what
so-
I'm saying.
So
sign me
Let's
up.
with that
go.
being said, my sub tagline is I'm going to eliminate your guesswork. See, as a brand new investor, you don't understand contracting. You don't understand contracts and you don't understand all of the mechanics. But if I say, you know what, Spanky, I'm going to give you access to my lender, my banker, my contractor, my realtor, my title company, I'm going to give you access to everybody you need to complete this transaction. So all you have to do is know how to calculate. And I'm even show you how to calculate it. So I eliminate your guesswork. So to answer your question, yes, I'm gonna give you my contractors. But even before we even get to that,
That's probably so important, especially out here in Vegas,
It's-
where
it's important
workers
everywhere.
are garbage.
But here's the thing: on your first property, I don't want you to buy something you got to go and rebuild. Why?
Right.
Because you don't have enough experience. I want you to get paid immediately. So we're gonna go get a turnkey property
a
so
little
you can make
taste.
money month one. So
Right.
now once you make money month one, now your confidences went through the roof. You own the asset, and then in 9 to 12 months, we're gonna borrow against that, and we're gonna repeat this process all again, and it costs you nothing out of your pocket.
Love that.
'Cause we're gonna borrow it
It's
against
exciting.
the property.
Yes.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
no, I only
Yeah.
want I only
2024
want
is
you to
looking
do
even better.
turnkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. to
That
me.
sounds like a touchdown.
Hey,
Let's go.
touchdown.
What about
the
these,
Lions or
touchdown.
Packers?
I'm gonna go with the Lions this time. Just this time.
Hey, what are those one things called? We were talking about that when we had Brad Lee on here. He was talking about the houses that are like, what is it, tax liens?
Oh yeah.
Do you get into anything like that?
So it's not something I necessarily do.
Yeah, the Brad Lee was saying that he does it. It's a great.
Yeah, no,
and he
tax
says
lien-
a lot of times it doesn't
It
work
doesn't
out.
work for everybody.
But if it
So,
does work,
for tax liens, it's not something I advise for a new investor. And here's why. If I go and buy this house because it has, let's say, a $5,000 tax lien against it. They have every single state is different. They have up to 3 years to come back and pay the taxes up. Now they have to pay it with interest. So it essentially is like putting your money in something where you know you're going to at least get the house or get the interest. But as a new investor, I wouldn't recommend that for somebody brand new because if that's all your money, now you're sitting there waiting for that money
Waiting.
to make you money. And that may be all you have, as opposed to saying, hey, let's get you some rental income. Then we can add that strategy into your arsenal. But I
Well,
wouldn't let
that's
that
probably
be your
why
first
Brad
strategy.
Lee, he's got a lot of liquid.
Oh,
Have you heard of
yeah.
Brad Lee?
Yeah.
His
very
portfolio
familiar with him.
Yeah, so we
great.
had him on here, and I mean that makes sense because
Yeah,
he
so
probably has money just to
Yeah,
sit
so you
like
may
that.
have
Right.
you may have $250,000 in notes out there, and whatever pops, it pops. Whatever doesn't, it doesn't. But you can afford to let that money sit out there. Somebody who's brand new, who don't have a lot of money, they can't afford to let their money sit out there for 3 years and not make money on
What do
it.
you think about all this like, you know, we talk with Brad about this a lot, but all this Bitcoin and Ethereum and all this everything crypto thing, like,
Right.
I got in, got out, bad anxiety. I made money, but this is one thing I don't understand. I went in pretty big and I cashed out pretty big.
Right.
But I did it. Everybody else, you know, that was with me, I had one friend. He went to Costa Rica. He was up 1.1 million.
All right.
And, you know, they say they take, what is it, 30% if you cash out that first year. He bought a mansion in Costa Rica for $400,000, and then $100,000 he spent on a Range Rover, and then he lost that other $600 when it dropped.
Right.
Me, I kind of did the same thing, but I didn't lose nothing when it dropped. But everybody else, I knew people that had 15, 20 million that they could show me on their phone.
That's gone.
And I'm like,
gone.
hey, how much did you take out of there? Nothing. Why? Like, why are, like, it's almost, it's like a bad gambling. Like, what, like,
it is gambling. That's all it is.
So-
that's what I thought. I'm like, this is
How
gambling.
most people look at money is gambling. From real estate to
Do you know
Toro
Marcus
to
to
stock.
Marcus to Braids?
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with him.
Oh, okay. He said it's actually funny. He's a guy that is into that. I subscribe to his OnlyFans. I've never done a girl's OnlyFans. I did a guy's. That motherfucker made me some fucking money.
Right. No, it's a lot
I
of good
seen him. I was
information.
like,
Yeah,
bro.
I guess,
I was
yeah.
like,
Pause.
Good
OnlyFans
information.
I felt
is
like
not-
just saying pause. For
yeah.
Hey,
OnlyFans is not all nudity
Yeah.
or sex.
No, there was nothing like that. No, he
Yes.
was giving advice on whatever. But again, I was like, if you're not cashing out that money, then you don't have nothing. That's just
Because everybody always thinks things are going to get better.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you buy at 100, they think it's going to go to 200. Well, you may have to cash out at 110.
yeah.
And see, this is the thing. Because most people have never made money without working, they don't know what a profit is.
Right.
So if I buy something for $10 and I make 2, so that means I cash out for 12, I'm up.
Yeah.
But everybody's waiting for that 10 to go to 20, and then the 20 to go to 40, and then the 40 to go to 80. And then by the time they think it's going to get to 160, they back down to 7. And this is the cycle, and why a lot of people get stuck and jammed up, and they don't learn the concept of how money works, because we think that everything we do, we're supposed to double. And I tell people, you don't even double your money in the streets.
Never.
Ever. And so we get into quote unquote business, and we try to run business like the streets, but we don't even realize the equation is the same. So this is why it's hard for a lot of people.
Do you think, are you pretty confident that you can go in any bank and pull out X amount of money for a business?
Absolutely.
So if you went and sat down with the banker and they said, what is this money for? And you said, I'm going to open an escort agency and sell drugs. You think they'll give you the money?
I mean, I would tell them it's a marketing agency.
Right.
I'm marketing titties.
Right. There you go.
You know?
And we got
It is-
prescription
I've
drugs.
always wanted to
go.
do that just to see. Because I'm like, you guys won't get it.
Percocets only. We don't sell cocaine. We just sell Percocets.
I'm like,
and shit like
I'm
that.
going to Chase Bank if I want to open a drug business.
Right. No, Bank of America.
Probably all of them, to be honest
All
with
of
you.
it, man.
So
Right.
so overall, what do you see? What's your end game with this? What do you see going on? What's going to happen when you fix everybody's credit?
I mean, well, that's not my end goal. To
That's not
fix
the end
everybody credit. No, my end
How
goal
about-
is licensing.
Licensing.
I've been licensing my content. You know, so it's just like if I was an artist who made music, I want to license it to the commercials, so I can make money in spite of me having to get on the stage. So now
There you go.
I license my content. So that's why I own all my IP. So when people see me rocking my shit, it's not necessarily from I think I'm cool. No, because I really own my shit. And so I did a licensing deal with West Virginia State University. They paid me,
WVU.
almost $250,000 for me to do a 10-week program.
There you go.
I'm about to do another licensing deal with a fintech bank company where they want to, license my rights to, my full-time CEO content. So my thing is I'm learning how to make money in spite of me. So that's my end game. And then I want to teach other people how to just do their business the right way. I know, I meet people in the entertainment industry. Like during COVID, I found out I made more than the average person in Hollywood.
That's crazy.
Oh, my money.
Because I didn't make a lot of money during that time.
You know what I'm saying?
At all.
Well, I'm talking about even before COVID came.
Right.
I saw an interview with Terrence Howard. He said he made $12,000 for Hustle and Flow because he didn't own the character. Paramount owned DJ. So even when They got a Grammy. He didn't make money from the
No.
stream or the
Hey, I don't even know if you know this, Spanky,
Paramount
but this
did.
was kind of crazy. When Eminem wanted to do 8 Mile, nobody would fund it because they're like, "Yo, this is a rapper doing a movie,"
Right.
and that just wasn't the jam. He took a flat $1 million. That's it. They made $100 million on the movie. He didn't get no rights
what I'm
to
saying.
selling the DVD. Nothing.
So this
he
is
made
why-
$1 million on 8 Mile.
This is
Wow.
why I try to show a lot of businessmen, entrepreneurs, people in the industry, yo, let me show you how to structure yourself so you own your IP. It's not sexy up front because everybody wants the big
When you say
money up
IP,
front.
what is that?
Intellectual property.
Intellectual.
Yeah, and so everybody wants to get the big bucks up front. I'm like, no, let them. No, you get your money on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Because now when you own your intellectual property, I can sell my rights to anybody for X amount of dollars.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So even with my athletes, my entertainers, I'm like, look, instead of, Sony or whoever paying, Spanky, no, we're going to set you up an LLC and call it Hayes LLC. So now they're going to pay your LLC. So now you mitigated your tax liability.
So
So
I'm incorporated.
Yeah.
Is that the same as the
Yeah,
LLC?
yeah.
Okay.
LLC is just an entity structure, but
Right.
yes, so this is but that's the stuff a lot of people don't notice.
I don't know the whole something I said to somebody. They were to the guy Fox. I said, I had a business and it was still coming up with my name and social security. And he's like, well, do you have any members? And I said, no. And he's like, you need to add at least one member on there because they are going, even though they're business credit cards, they are attached to my name and social security.
Yeah, so I try to show people how to get that type of stuff set up, man.
Yeah, I saw you said something on a thing. You said something about you signed something and then
Yeah.
you put
Member.
like
Because
the title. You said when you're
I
signing
put
any
my title of the
contract.
company.
And why do you do that?
So because if let's say I get a contract, let's say we're doing a deal and you give me a contract and it's under, my company, Full-Time CEO LLC, I'm not signing it as Will Roundtree. I'm signing it as Will Roundtree member because that's the title I'm holding of that company. But do you know 97% of people sign their contracts wrong?
Oh, I did. I know that.
I didn't know
That's
that.
why I asked that.
Yeah, that one's on the house, y'all.
Huh?
That one's for free.
Okay.
That one.
Hey.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, I saw
Nice to
that.
That's
that
some
one.
real shit though.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They start talking about S corp, C corp. Like I'm lost in the sauce with that.
Yeah, it's all how you want to be taxed. Like I'll give you an example. So everybody's familiar with having an LLC structure, and so LLC means limited liability. Now, when you have an S corp, you can't set up an S corp. You have to set up either an LLC or a corporation and be and asked to be taxed as an S corp. So now, when you're an S corp, I can have what is called pass through income. So now my company can pay Will Roundtree. And that income that Will Roundtree gets paid from my Full-Time CEO LLC is I can write my income off as a tax expense now.
Now I saw there was a commercial. I don't know where I saw it, but they were saying they set up the LLC and then they were making their family doing the same thing, employing all the
Yeah,
people
you could
in
pay
their
them
family.
up to like $12,000, and this is why I tell people: look, we spend so much time trying to figure this shit out ourselves. Just go get a professional. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't cost a lot to have a professional, and so I have a CFO that is on my organizational board of my company, and then I have my person who does my taxes, and so like we gotta become professionals at hiring professionals.
Yeah,
That part.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? We try to figure this out. We Google and shit. We going to H&R Block. No, like
Talking to the guy that you're doing
Yeah.
coke with at 3 a.m, like
Right.
in the club.
he's giving you business.
Hey, how you do your
That's
taxes?
He's giving you
Right.
business.
Y'all
advice,
both high
like,
and shit. So it's like, no, we got to become professional at getting professionals
Yes.
around us.
No,
I'm-
that
well,
is that makes all the sense in the world.
I can't wait to read
It's
those
almost like
books and
it's almost like a lazy
get
thing.
the knowledge.
What
You
is?
become lazy to want to go find the
Wealthy
professional.
people get lazy,
yeah.
Of course.
but lazy in a good way.
Yeah.
Because we got to learn to delegate and not go ask
that's
our
how-
cousin Ronnie, who's sleeping in our third room. No, don't
Right.
ask Ronnie.
Right.
Yeah.
Ronnie borrowing money from you, but we asking him
Right.
for financial advice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So no, let's
I've done
not do
that to strippers at the Rhino.
Or start a website for me, cousin, and they never do it. They just
Ever.
stay at your house all for
So
7
no,
months.
no, get professionals.
Yeah.
That's the
So,
easiest way.
but, I mean, how do you like? So just saying, how do you do that? How do you reach out to that? I mean,
So it depends. So prime example, let's go back to the world of real estate. you can have a real estate attorney that you can ask them to, review your contracts for you. It's that simple, so you don't get jammed up in a bad thing. So keep in mind, when you hire those professionals, they work for you, because who cut their checks?
Right.
Now, you got to make sure they're working in your best interest, but that's why we have to know what to ask. So
Because they could technically finesse you, right?
They
With the
can.
knowledge they know.
But you got to know what to ask, the right
Yeah.
questions. See, a lot of the times we just go in and say, "Oh, just handle everything." So you still got to have some type of knowledge base to say, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for out of you," and then I'm gonna hold you accountable to that. So, like, no, you're my attorney. This is what I need you to do. You're here to protect my money, because that's the only way you're going to get paid. You're a tax person. I need you to find me the best tax strategies. How can I save the most amount of money? Are you depreciating my real estate holdings? Am I doing this? Am I doing? But because we don't know enough about enough, we just say here and then find out 3 years later.
So that's probably what a lot of NFL and because again
I
you
see it
say
all the
how the
time.
fuck do these guys with all this money and they are around smart people, the people that own the teams and stuff
Well,
are
Smart is subjective. They're smart
Smart,
enough
yeah.
to finesse them out their money.
finesse them out their money. No, that's what I'm,
So it's just like, yo,
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta improve. Here's another thing I'm learning. Most people don't know what they want out of life.
I want to go to a Raiders game. Can you
That's
take
true.
me
I
there?
got you, man. I
Okay.
got you, Trey.
He was at a
I'll
Raiders
go
game the
with
other
y'all,
day.
but I'm not a Raider fan. But I'll go.
I go just to watch. I'm not a Raiders fan.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to be though because I'm happy sports are here. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I was diehard Red Wing, but I'm
I
Golden
do
Knight
root
now.
when we get a touchdown, though. I'm up there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're there,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck it. Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching it on TV when I called you and you said you were there, and it's like, they're all out there hugging each other. I'm like, did they win the fucking Super Bowl? They just went 5-5, and they're all. But I'm like, what a perfect way to come in. The coaching.
Yeah, that was awesome.
They're like,
That
hey
was-
man, I'm from Compton. I listen to NWA. You're the guy.
You're the guy, man.
You're the
the
guy.
guy.
Hey, the funny thing I said about just knowing about Raider Nation, I was like, oh my God, Raider Nation's gonna flood Vegas and there's gonna be fucking crime everywhere. And then come to find out, the only people committing crimes are the football players. They're the ones in
Oh my
trouble.
God.
Yeah,
You
Marshawn Lynch is
Yeah.
a fucking beast.
Yeah, hey, so Marshawn Lynch I'm gonna breeze past this Henry Ruggs thing real quick because I'm a big Alabama fan. Even right down to Josh Jacobs was renting one of my houses.
Right.
Have no idea how that guy got a DUI. He was the most on point guy I've ever seen in my life. But at the end of the day, again, people didn't teach these people how to act with this money, and you put them in
Hell
Las
no.
Vegas. And here's what I said. So I got this answered.
And they don't know contracts. Like
I got this answered by Josh Jacobs. I said, hey, bro, how did you not have somebody with you to drive? A friend, a girl, anybody? I always let the other person drive, even if they are drinking. And I said, the NFL says, hey, we give you free ride car service.
Right.
He said, when you call that car service, they snitch on you with the NFL. And then why they're out by themselves is because they're sneaking away so nobody on the team
I got
snitches
that.
on
So
them.
this is why take some of the money you're spending at the strip club and you have your cousin Tony drive you around.
Yeah.
Right.
Tony making whatever he makes.
What
Look,
the hell was
cuz,
Marshawn Lynch doing with that no tire fucking something?
Let me give you $1,000. Make sure I'm good tonight. No phones.
Right.
So you're not recording nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of giving Sapphire 20,000, give them 19,900
right.
or whatever.
Yeah,
19,000.
no,
It's like and that's the thing.
Prioritize your money and where you put it.
Prioritize, and it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
become a professional.
And don't
at
pay
making sure you're
20,000 to go
self-around.
to Sapphires either way. I mean, none against
Yeah, I mean,
Sapphires, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, so
But
give some of that to pay Ronnie.
Those girls say they love you, though.
fuck them bitches.
I still believe it. Every
I
time.
kick them all
I
out.
bet you do, True. I bet you
They
do.
leave when the cocaine gone anyway, so it don't matter.
I know.
I'm just fucking.
True.
But you know I'm true. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So they love you as long as the coke is there.
That's it. You
Hey,
know.
it's a
That's
cold
All
a
right,
game.
well,
prior tale.
before we wrap this
Oh,
up, where
game.
can people find you at?
So I'm across all social media platforms at Mr. Will Roundtree, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter or X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and yeah, I mean, I'm always traveling. I'm always online giving information. I go live often, and my thing is like, and I'll share the story real quick. One of my very first business investments I made was in 2013. I invested in a tax franchise. and it went horribly wrong. I actually lost everything. I tell people I lost everything twice. And so the reason I lost everything was because I was doing it for the money. And as long as you're chasing money, the money will outrun you. And so I told myself the next time I get an opportunity to do business, my focus is going to be to serve people. And so I said, I'll be blessed as long as I help other people get blessed. And I'm not saying it to get applause or being all philosophical. Money is a currency. Right. It's an energy. And the more you give people, it really does come back. But you got to do it with a good intention. And when you look up the word intention, it means with an aim or purpose. And so I really have an aim or purpose. So if I help you make 1,000 and I make 2,000, we both won.
Right.
Yep.
So my thing is I want to help people better their situation. Yes, I have a stake in this game too. If I help you make money, I'm gonna make money.
Of course.
But as long as I help you make money and I make money, you ain't tripping. Because now you can go duplicate what I just helped you do and go double up that money.
And go help someone else
Go
too.
help somebody else. So my thing is, and I ain't trying to finesse and get over people, and I'm not trying to get rich off one person.
Gotcha. What about you, little Rach? Where can they find you besides OnlyFans?
Shut up. Oh my gosh.
I thought I seen the point. Never mind.
Shut up. It's Lil Rach, LILRAYCH, on IG, and I'm rebranding and doing a bunch of cool stuff on the interwebs. So catch me later.
What about you, Spanky here rebranded? He's now Carlos Hayes. Where can they find you at, Carlos?
Official Carlos Hayes. That's it, man.
You Spanish?
On everything.
Yeah, Cuban.
No. Okay, I just learned something new, man.
And then I have a personal page, tru.e11even, but I cannot handle at my age 2 account, so I'm just on Green Room Radio.
Don't act like y'all didn't see me just do
all
that
day.
magic trick right there.
You've been knocking shit over all day.
But
how about you, Hugh? Where can they find you? There it is. We don't want Hugh.
The villain.
All right. Well, thank you, Will, for coming by. We appreciate it. We will check back in with you one day after we attempt this. And
I'm reading those books.
No, I'll call you tomorrow. I'm calling you tomorrow.
Yeah, right. We need to talk after this.
Yeah,
for sure.
Fuck all that.
Peace out, y'all.
See ya.
Peace.